The government says it plans to introduce a Great Repeal Bill, which it says will restore freedoms and civil liberties curtailed under Labour. Any changes may affect the work of the Chief Surveillance Commissioner, Sir Christopher Rose. He published his annual report today, but without any fanfare. It looks at the use of the Regulation of Investigatory Powers Act, or REPA, and the Police Act of 1997 in England, Wales and Scotland. In other words, it covers the covert activities, excluding telephone and mail interception, carried out by all public authorities except the intelligence services. We asked Alex Deane of the pressure group Big Brother Watch to tell us about the report's findings.
The report makes it clear that operations of up to 24 days have happened in this country without proper authorisation. That is to say, surveillance has been carried out of people in this country against whom nothing has been proven. No charge has even been brought, but covert surveillance has been in operation on individuals or families up to 24 days, and that surveillance has been unauthorised. Some 78 separate occasions that's happened.
And you mentioned 78 separate occasions. I mean, how much of the detail of those separate incidents is there in the report?
That's the most frustrating thing. Whilst it specifies the kinds of mistakes that were made that made those surveillance operations unauthorised, it doesn't say how their surveillance was conducted. So not only will the people who were watched unlawfully in this country, not only will those people never know that they were watched, but they will also never know how they were watched, how their family was watched.
So we don't know where, we don't know who, we don't know even the vaguest details of what.
Precisely. I'm afraid it isn't scaremongering, it's simply stating the obvious truth to say it could have happened to you, because nobody is going to know how this happened and under what circumstances it did.
Now, Theresa May, the Home Secretary, recently announced in the Commons that the sort of stop and search powers for police under the anti-terror legislation were to be scrapped. Do you think that the system will become fairer following a change like that?
To be clear, she didn't actually scrap these powers. She said that stop and search without reasonable suspicion should no longer be used on individuals in the street. That is to say, it can still be used on vehicles. So all you need to do instead, if you're a policeman and you want to use these powers, is to stop a vehicle. So it's good to see a restriction of that power pending the review that the coalition's going to carry out into stop and search. But let's not pretend we've had some great moment of liberty and victory in this country.
The coalition has said that it plans to introduce what it calls a Great Repeal Bill, which it says will be used to roll back some of the surveillance culture. Do you have much confidence in that? Is it one of those things that sounds great when you're in opposition, but potentially once you're in government is rather harder to perhaps change?
I really hope that that delivers some concrete changes. I think that right now we are at the high point of the government's commitment to freedom and liberty. It's only going to go downhill, only going to become more bureaucratic, only going to be more authoritarian from here on in, as our beloved civil service get their claws into the government and as our ministers become accustomed to their office and the seriousness of the things with which they grapple, we will see our government, I'm afraid, becoming more authoritarian.
Alex Deane. And we asked the Surveillance Commissioner, Sir Christopher Rose, for an interview, but he declined. We also asked the Home Office, but no minister was available.